Today we're doing the Skip the Boat interview. How are you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you for coming through. The first thing I always like to ask people is, how would you explain yourself or describe yourself to someone who has no idea who you are or what you do?
So my name is Herman Jack Paul. I'm 26 years old, and I run a brand called Skip the Boat, which is all about clothing and events and throwing the greatest underground shows that the world's ever seen.
So what made you want to start doing that?
Well, in New Zealand, like the underground scene isn't like it's quite behind in terms of like the culture and everything. So for me, like what initially kind of got me into it was there were so many like parties happening, there were so many gigs and stuff happening, but none of it was really tapping into the music that I really enjoyed and that I really liked listening to. So it just got to a point where I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself, and if it works, it works. If not, who cares? Like at least I got to enjoy myself on a night out. So it all just kind of stemmed from there, and then that passion just grew and developed more and more. The more shows that went down, I just started to like really love this idea of trying to better them and get better and better and better and just bring people together for something special like that.
So when you say the underground scene, do you mean like the American underground scene or like the underground scene in New Zealand?
Honestly, both. Like the scene there that's like influenced by like America and the people that listen to like American music, it's so behind. So like it's weird because it's kind of like people will fuck with artists, but only after they've kind of already kind of broken like out of that underground. They're already kind of like popping off. Whereas I feel like the rest of the world's kind of like super early onto it. And then the scene itself, there was no one like really throwing shows for them. So like a lot of the underground artists over there, and there's some super talented ones, they never really got any attention or anything. So I was like, I like their music. I think they're super talented. Why don't I try like step in and kind of like create something with it? So it all just stemmed from there.
I really like that. I respect that. Not knowing that there's something in your city where they don't have it, and being the one to step up and do it first is a hard thing to do. So I know that.
Thank you, bro.
What was the first show you've ever done?
The first ever show that I ever did was like 4 years ago. It was in my hometown, and like I knew nothing at all. Like I started off by like DMing like 100 like artists in the country, just like asking them to play at the show. I went around door by door to like trying to find sponsors. I went door by door trying to find a venue, and it was just me going into this like space where I knew nothing, and I was like, I'm just gonna go there and just try to figure it out. It all came together, and I think we had like 150 people there, and it was just incredible. Like I just love this whole idea and like the process of trying to build it from scratch and being able to get creative with it, and just from there like being able to expand and think of new ideas and think outside of the box to get them even more like special and unique.
Good. What was the first show when you realized that this is going to be something special and that really stood out to you?
To be honest, I feel like it was like there's two, because I feel like there's levels to it. Like the first one that I can think of would probably be, there was a show like in my hometown. It was called Walk the Plank, and it was just the first time where I got to see like a crowd in my home city like actually like mosh like crazy and go absolutely insane. And then I remember thinking like as these sets were happening, like, yo, okay, there's something special here. Like there's potential for this to be something way, way bigger. And then the first show where I was like, okay, this is something on like a whole nother level, like past that just like normal kind of like bar, was like the first free show that we did, which was in Auckland. It was this massive like free show where we brought over our first international artist from Australia, and seeing a massive line of people just lined up to like try coming to the show, I was like, okay, like this is the, you know, like this level. So like there's the underground shows which we did, and then it's kind of stepping up to like still being underground, but these people like want this, you know, and there's a demand for it, and you see it from the people that are lining up.
So
that was,
once you like figured out that there was that demand and that you could like feel that next level, what was like your next level of thoughts, or like, how did you plan after that, knowing that you could do this type of shows?
it was just to elevate. It was just to take ideas and start elevating them and taking it to like the next level and keep on just believing in like what we were doing. So our like big thing was throwing like these free shows. You know, like Skip the Boat is like a clothing brand, and what we do with all that money that we make, we put it back into throwing these free shows. So it's just like feeding the culture and trusting that the culture is gonna show love back. So it was, we knew that there was like a demand for it, and we knew that people really fucked with it. It was like, how can we improve this experience for people every single time, and like really create stuff that's separating us from like the rest of the people that are throwing shows, all the time.
I love that. So, how did you start from going or being in your hometown in New Zealand and wanting to reach out to do a show in Canada?
To be honest with you, like Canada came by like super last minute, because we had done shows overseas, like in Tokyo, Vietnam, and stuff.
That's crazy.
And I think I was talking to Jake, who like DM'd me like ages ago because he saw one of our clips from one of our shows back in New Zealand, and we were just constantly like in touch, just like talking about shows and stuff. And then just out of nowhere, like at the start of this year, I was like, yo, like what if like we just come out to like Toronto and just throw a show and just figure it out as it comes? And he was down with it, so we booked our flights, and a week later we pulled up. And
that's crazy.
And we had like 2 weeks to set up like an entire show. And that's what we did, and we just applied like the same shit that we've learned from back home to this market, and yeah, it just worked.
So did you have Canada confirmed before you came out or after? Or planned?
The like show itself?
Yeah.
So like coming here, like we had like nothing sorted. I think all we had was, there's a potential for this one venue, and then when we got here, we went and checked it out. We're like, okay, this is sick, and they pulled out on us even after we thought that was going to be our space. So they pulled out on us, and then again, it was just us starting from complete scratch. Like we were at, square one trying to figure it out. So kind of just applied that pressure. But the thing is, like, I think we're so used to being under that kind of pressure. Like we've had so many times where we've lost venues, or we've had stuff happen like last minute, where it was just, all right, we're in a new city that we've never been in before. Yeah, it's a bit more difficult because we don't really know like our bearings around here. But it's the same shit. It's trying to figure out how we can go from here and still throw an amazing show at the end of the day, and that's just what we did.
So it's been a few days since that show. What are your thoughts, and how would you reflect on how everything turned out?
Honestly, it was awesome. I think that the like energy here is like unmatched. It's incredible. Like people from out here really love their music, and they go crazy for it. Like the pits were insane. I don't know. I like by far this is probably like one of like my favorite shows that we've ever thrown.
Yeah.
Like I thought the venue, like the space that we had, the warehouse was insane. Like people don't really do shows there, so it was so cool to have that space. I think everyone that came through brought energy. Like sometimes you get people that come to shows and they think that they're like too cool to get involved, but people out here, like no, they were like with it.
Oh. Yeah.
So yeah, no man, like it was by far like one of my favorite shows that we've probably ever done. Hands down.
No, that was a special vibe. Like, I've never seen like a show like honestly in the like I can't even remember the last show that was that crazy here too. Like so, it's not even just Toronto. You guys really did your thing, bringing that like environment and having a free show brings out like the people who want to rage too. Yeah. Usually, the people who spend more money on tickets tend to be the people who don't want to get real crazy. Yeah. So. Yeah, no, I rate everything that you've done.
Yeah.
Outside of that, your Toronto concert, what are some other of your favorite concerts that you've done?
My favorite ones, to be honest, was like back home in like Christchurch, which is like in the South Island of New Zealand. I just think that was like such like it was like a show that we really needed like badly, and everything just worked so perfectly with it.
Right.
It was a show where you do the show and then you're like, okay, like this is how shows are meant to be. So I think having that show under our belt just gave us the confidence to go even further with it. That one, and also we did a show with DC the Don in Hamilton in like this massive car park where we just had this empty car park. We brought everything in from scratch, and he pulled up and it was just insane. Like again, like the energy with that one was incredible, and just having it outside in like a car park when it's like raining, it just had that atmosphere that was so right. It was sick.
Shout out DC the Don, love him and this team. Who's like a dream artist that you would love to have?
D Savage.
D Savage.
Seriously,
I love D Savage too.
Hands down. Yeah, like D Savage at a show would be like a massive thing like TikTok for me.
Hell yeah. So you have D Savage headlining. Who is like would be the dream full card of the show?
D Savage, Chuck Vile on there.
Oof, yeah.
The rest don't really matter. I mean, like if it was like a dream lineup, I'm talking like Ski Mask would be sick. Lucky would be sick.
Lucky's good. Yeah.
There's so many, dude. Like it's so cool because there's like endless potential with it. Like it's fun knowing that there's a million artists that I could still book down the line, and we could go crazy with it, and throw like something crazy with. But at the moment, like D Savage, man, like that's just like an artist that I love as like a fan of his like music. He's insane live. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like any show with D Savage would just go crazy.
I forgot to ask you about the Toronto show, and we grabbed Vio.
Yeah.
When he was hanging from the roof, what was going through your mind? Because me being in the concert, I was like, this guy's gonna die. What the hell is this guy doing?
It was insane. Yeah. No, like it was a weird moment because it was a thing where it's like when it's happening, like at the time, you're like, okay, holy shit, like this is insane. It's like this is crazy. Something could go wrong, but it's not going wrong, and it looks absolutely insane. Like I don't think I've ever seen a clip like that in my life. Like like putting your life on the line like that. I don't know. It was just crazy to see because like I was like up top when I saw it, and I saw him climb up it, and he had kind of like spoke about it before, but there was like a part of me that still didn't like really believe it. I was like, oh yeah, like yeah, sure, but like when it actually happened and came down to it, I don't know, like it kind of felt surreal just like seeing that someone was hanging off like this, on top of this warehouse, and it's a big drop. Like if you fall from there, like you're gonna die. Like there's no question about it. But just seeing that, I don't know, and I know for a fact that the crowd was so shocked as well.
Oh yeah.
Just from their like reaction, like for a moment it just went silent because everyone's like, wait, like what's going on? And then you just hear a loud crowd just screaming. I don't even know how to put it into words. It was crazy. Because like you saw that, right?
Yeah, that was like the top 3 like craziest concert moments that has ever happened to me.
No, it was I don't even know how to put it into words. It was sick, but the like footage of it is so cool to look back on. It just looks so surreal. It's cool.
Also, how cool is it seeing Lil Tecca being FaceTimed while Tanner was performing at the show?
Dude, that was awesome. It like I don't know, like it was just cool knowing that like he saw like what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was smiling. I don't know, but it looked like he thought that it was cool, and like that's huge because like for something that like we're trying to do and what we're trying to push with this underground scene, to have someone like that who's already kind of like found major success, that man, like it's good knowing that people are watching and
right.
Yeah.
So do you have any plans of coming back to Toronto?
Absolutely.
Right.
No, 100%. Like, dude, like it's awesome. Like honestly, it's so cool. Like I love it here, and I really want to come back, and I want us to do a show that's so much bigger than what we just did, and really like blow it out of the park. Or just take it to like a whole nother level. Because I feel like this was just like the real like, just like a taste of like what we can do, and a taste of like what we do back home, and just bringing that here and trying to like show people like, look, this is what we do back home. And we're gonna give you like a taste of it, and now knowing that people really fuck with it, and they're down with it, it's kind of giving us that like little push, like all right, like see how far like you like really can go with this. So it'd be sick to come back and go 10 times bigger and do something huge.
No, of course. No, you and First Class collabing is like that. Something special for real.
Yeah, they're cool, man. Yeah, they're cool guys.
I'm personally not too familiar with the New Zealand scene. I'm sure a lot of my followers are based in North America, probably aren't either. Who are some people from that scene you love to shout out here?
There's a lot. Like honestly, like there's so many artists out there that are doing their thing and trying to like create their path and what they're doing. Like I'm sure like Sempra is like a huge artist that's kind of blown up like in a few years, that is popping off like worldwide, which is sick. Yeah, I mean, I could name so many. Like, Eliezer is doing his own thing. He's going crazy with it. Just, dude, like, it's crazy because if you really tap into it, you could find so many artists that are mad underrated, and it's so hard because it's so far away from like North America. It's so hard for them to even like really get attention. But being able to like when you're in that scene and you're putting on shows in those cities, you like really see how talented these people are and like how close they are to like possibly just blowing up.
Right.
But I feel like it's kind of like that everywhere you go. Like when we did a show in Tokyo, we met so many artists I probably would have never found unless I went there and I did a show. Like there's artists there that I still play to this day that are super super talented. Same with like even Vietnam. Like I would have never thought that I would find like artists that I really fuck with in Vietnam, but so many. Like there's talent all across the world. It's just like trying to like discover it.
So how did you end up doing shows in Tokyo and Vietnam? That's pretty crazy.
Well, it is not like it's like everything that we do. It's all just funded through the like sales of clothing, right? So like our big thing is like we're gonna make these clothing pieces, whatever, and people want to wear them and they buy them, and they show love with that. And instead of spending this money on things like clothes and cars or whatever, like we want to give back to these people because we know that like being able to bless us with this like life is a blessing, and the only way to give back is for us to give it right back to them by doing these free shows and allowing people to see the artists that they've always wanted to see in cool spaces. So it was an idea of just being like, you know what, like Tokyo seems lit. Why don't we just go there and try and do the same thing? I mean, it was the same thing as Toronto, man. Honestly, it was something just like gravitating us towards it, and we're like, all right, like let's just pull that trigger and just hope for the best. And I feel like when you work like that, good things come to you. You know what I mean? If you just go with your gut.
So yeah, man, I really like everything that you said there. I saw like real like positive, powerful shit. I thought that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
What do you guys have planned for the near future?
Near future, it's just to keep on expanding, man, and like doing what we do best. I feel like we've been going so crazy like back home in New Zealand for so long, and I also feel like so many people out here in like North America haven't really seen that because it's so far away from home for them. You know what I mean? But I think us doing this has kind of put us like on the radar like a bit for like the people out here. And I just want to take that kind of like momentum and just go with it, start doing more shit out here in like North America, because I think the people out here really like appreciate it, and they fuck with it, and I don't know, man, like I don't see why we wouldn't expand out here and start doing more stuff, like it's been an amazing experience,
No, I'd love to see it. One thing that also stands out to me from what you guys do is the posters you guys have. Talk about like why poster design for your concerts is important, and like why it's important to you.
I just like cool looking things, dude. Like one, like I don't want to like promote an event that has like a shitty poster that just looks weird. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And the thing is, like, there's so many talented ass like designers and stuff out there that it's cool being able to like work with someone that has like a vision and like giving them like the complete like freedom to like do what they see with like the ideas that we give them and come up with something crazy. Like I think that's like one of like the coolest things about like even just putting together a show, just seeing like what kind of concepts like we can come up with and like what kind of designs that can kind of go down. And like the poster that was made for like this Toronto show was insane. It's super sick. But I don't know, like I love like that there's a community behind it, like there's these people that are like videographers, photographers, there's like designers and there's artists. There's a million different people doing their own thing, and it's cool to be able to like connect and like work with as many of them as possible, for sure.
I'd love to hear that. Are there any that you really fuck with that you love to work with or that you want to shout out?
I'll say Kladsky for now because we like talked about it earlier. Kladsky the GOAT. This dude like. I don't know. I mean, like, there's so many that like we've like worked with in the past. They're all like super talented, and like when I can, I try like design my like own stuff for posters and stuff. But I love being able to like work with others because everyone has amazing ideas.
Fire. As we're wrapping up the interview, one question I always like to end with is think about yourself when you first started doing shows, and what advice would you give to yourself or someone else that is in that position now?
The best piece of advice, honestly, is like consistency. I feel like too many people will start something that they're really, really passionate about, and if they don't get like instant results from it, they give up, And the thing is, like, as long as you don't give up, like you can never really fail, like it's always there, and there's always a chance for it to go crazy. So I feel like if there's something that like you're passionate about, like you should stick with it, keep on trying to like learn from it and grow, take all the like hours that they get and turn them into like lessons, improve what you're doing, And do it because you love it. You know, like if you're in it for like the money, it's never gonna work because there's too much stress involved. You know, like you're better off getting a job at like McDonald's at that point. So, yeah, if you love it, stick with it. Simple as that.
So, to add on to that, one thing that always really helped me is, so I think I forgot who said it. Someone said that if you can accept rejection, you can never fail. It's like the same thing. If you give up and then just accept being rejected, and that you can keep pushing on, you'll achieve your goals.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I love that. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Is there anything you want to say before we end it?
Thank you, bro. Thank you for giving us like a platform to speak and everything.
Thank
I appreciate
you for coming, man. I appreciate you. This was a really lovely interview. Everything you said was really positive and really great. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you too.